And hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Reality Skewed Gamers Help little videos that we like to do. You guys have been loving these here of late, and we are here to talk about another subject in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes to help you with your game. I'm your man with the plan, Ranger J 1999, and joining me is my willing cannoneer, Mr. Carthrick. Hello, Carthrick. How are you today, my friend?
Howdy. I'm doing just fine and dandy.
That's right. We just had a just a really great edition of the Jedi Academy, which you can check on YouTube. And whether you watch this video or any other videos we have lots of them. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe, leave comments. The interactions matter. You want to help our channel grow and things of that nature? Let us know. And let us know how these guys are helping impact you and your Star Wars galaxy. Now, last time, Carth, we talked about light side geos, and it's only fair before the holidays, Christmas season and everything kicks in that we talk about dark side geos. We're talking about modding and how you can mod these characters. Now, some of these are going to be pretty straightforward, but there's going to be some little wiggle room you can do with certain characters, right?
hmm
So I'm just sitting here looking at these four dark side geos. Who do we want to start with first, Earth? Some are pretty straightforward, some are not.
Let's start with Slacker.
Slacker, yes, he is the one that has a lot of different ways you can go. Now, you can currently see that I have on mine speed with health, right? And the reason for that is because I'm using him against GL Leia's and things of that nature, which is never fun. But you want him super fast if you're going to go against Leia. If you go second, that's not good, Carth. So I've got mine with 582 speed, a little bit less health than you normally would see, but I wanted the damage to be there, so I have 12,000 damage. So if you are going to go fast SLKR, anything above 11k, above 570, tons of health is pretty much the player on this. Let's get Carth's insights on this and the other modding that we've done in the past for SLKR and the different routes you can go. And why are we modding him this way there, Carth? I mentioned some of the reasons, but break it down for us, brother.
So a large portion of it is that he just needs to get out and go first to control the board well, because that stun is very helpful.
Yeah.
So him going first and clearing all the opponent's buffs they may start with and everything else is very important. He's one of the few GLs where I feel like speed on him, clearing 580 on him is very important. Yeah, pushing him higher than that is still good. I know there are some people that have him at 600 speed,
That's not.
which is nuts. But a large portion of it is for most of the counters. If you want him to be flexible versus Lord Vader and Jabba and Leia and those kind of teams, you need to be fast to get out there and start controlling the board early. So that's a large portion of where the speed's important. The offense you do want decent amount because you don't want to just take forever to ramp up to doing lots of damage versus like teams like Lord Vader and stuff like that where you can't critically hit. Um, and then of health, of course, the reason for that is that he does have health steal in his kit, and it's part of, I think it's part of his mastery, I want to say. No, it's not. He's got crit damage as mastery. Uh, he can't recover protection very often, but he can
Mm-hmm.
recover health through health steal, even though he's got a fairly small amount. He's got 40% on his kit by
Still
default,
good.
so that's still amount. So when you start ramping really high, you can recover your health. So that's part of the reason why people build in for health is because you don't typically get the ability to regenerate protection unless you're using with Watt. So health is the next best tanky stat to run with on him. Um, the only other ways I've seen him modded is people who go full on offense and they aim for
Which,
like
yeah,
14 to 15k physical offense on him.
yeah,
And they slow
significantly
him
slower.
down. Yeah,
Yes.
usually he's somewhere. Well, because to get that high, I think you gotta have an offense arrow.
Yeah.
And that usually is meant for just a full-on blitz approach to the damage. You're not worried about as much as controlling the board as you are just killing things as fast as you can, which it's not a bad strategy as long as, Datacrons aren't adding 500% defense to teams, then it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter how you do that. Um, the other one that I've seen with mild success is triple health sets on him and just going for full-on bulk.
Yeah.
And those are for ones where you're planning on utilizing datacrons more to make up your offensive or compound on your defensive strategies. So that one's a little bit different. It's not very common that you see something like that. Usually it's either offensive or speed. And I think for right now, where the meta sits is that speed's going to be the way to run him as
Yeah,
fast as you
for
can get
now.
him with decent offense and health.
Yeah. And I did run the offense set previously, but we changed it because looking at Leia, I was like, well, if I'm going to use this against Leia, I'm going to need him super duper fast. So we went back to our old modding set with him. So yeah, so there we go. So that is SLKR and some of the kind of the stats you want to look at when you are modding for him. Next one, let's just do C because he's pretty straightforward. I
Yeah.
mean, he ain't changed. He ain't changed anytime soon. I don't know how Darth Bane, who's been announced, is going to affect our modding with him. That could change, but for right now, until 3 or 4 months from now, when we get Darth Bane, and we can see how that all plays out with Darth Bane's kit. C is just about surviving, man. It's all about health, 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 health. At Relic 8, you want him between 100 and I'd say 195,000 to 205,000, right around that range. You get a little bit more at Relic 9, but it's not really doing that much. He doesn't get a lot of the boost that the other GLs get for Relic 9. But it's not about speed. It's not about anything else. It's just mainly health. You're just trying to get him to survive long enough for him to get the ultimate to do his thing. So I've got all health sets on him with health primaries, even on the arrow. Um, let's talk about C here, Carth. I mean, outside of this, not a lot of wiggle room with C. It just doesn't work very well.
I mean, so the whole point with C is just to run him with tons and tons and tons and tons of defensive viability so that he can endure a lot of the shenanigans that come out from um, the counters you use him for, right?
Right.
Which right now the one he was typically used a lot for was Ray, and now with Ben having a 4-turn heal immunity, there's no way C can really recover through that and keep moving
No.
forward. So he's kind of at a position where he has to be very careful as to what he's doing, which is, that's all fine and dandy. Um, so when it comes to that kind of stuff, the bulk is where it's the most beneficial for him.
Yeah.
He still doesn't want to be slow. Like you still want to push him somewhere to like roughly 500 speed.
Yeah. Mine's only 43,
Um,
but what can you do?
I mean, somewhere between 480 and 500 is where because you don't want him too slow that he gets lapped a lot, but
Yeah.
you want him, but you do want him fast enough, but you can get that reasonably well with all health sets and speed secondaries. You can
Yeah.
kind of get there, so it's not that bad. Outside of that, I haven't ever really seen anyone mod him differently. I've seen people try to mod him for speed, but it doesn't seem to really move the needle too much on him because I think he is the slowest GL in the game. So I don't think. Well, I think him and Jabba are tied actually. But anyways, it doesn't really change the needle very much for what he counters
Yeah.
to have it. So it's all about just get his health pool as high as you can, and then just hope he endures all the shenanigans.
There you go. So that is C, and he's pretty straightforward. We'll come back to C in another date once we get Bane in here. And me and Carth will both be unlocking Bane. You bet your ass we are. All right, let's talk about Lord Schmader. Lord Vader. He is an interesting one, but his stats are pretty straightforward on what you want from him. I'm sure there's different modding. Carth will talk about it right now. 2 goals, as much speed as you can get on him, but you want that protection above 200,000. I've got mine at 234 and health above 100,000 at Relic 8. Mine's only Relic 8. Now these stats will go up on Relic 9 a little bit, but I haven't Relic 9'd him yet. He's not a bad one to Relic 9. But those are 2 key stats. You don't really have to worry about potency too much with him either. So I've got I mean, you can, but for me, his stuff it's unavoidable. So for me, it's like make him as fast as I can, but with really good health and protection as it translates and stuff. Carth, let's talk about the modding for Lord Schmader.
Um, yeah, there's basically 2 ways I've seen people run him, which is basically similar to how people run Slacker, which is either you go full bore offense, and you get like a ton of crit damage or a lot of offense because he does ramp very well, especially if you have a
Yes.
lot of investment into your Lord Vader squad. He's going to take a ton of that mastery and just ramp his stats really, really high. So either doing things like a crit damage set or an offense set with a crit damage triangle, and then running some protection. You're a little bit more of an aggressive approach. but it is another way to mod him that gives you very decent results, because by the time you get to that first alt, if you've got high investment, it really takes people aback by how much damage he does in his next like Force Crush and like that. So
Yeah.
that's a big part of it. Yeah, everything else out of that is like Lord Vader's control all comes from him taking turns, because his dots inflict no, his dots prevent turn meter gains. So him being very fast is why most people have him that way, because he gets very fast. He goes out there. The first thing he does is an AOE daze, and then it kind of slows the entire team. So
Yeah.
it's a very powerful uh character to have move first in the battlefield. So people want to push him as fast as they can. So that's usually where most people are headed.
Yeah. He's a later character that you want to go for, but if you are going for him, it's going to be a lot of relics, going to be a lot of pain. What, like 4 relic gates? Oh my god. And you got to do the Bad Batch and the relic 5. It's a heavy investment, and you got to invest heavily in the team. You need Maul for him to make him work, but certain stats you want to shoot for. Again, when we talk about these are end goals. For you newer players, mid-tier players that have just unlocked Lord Vader, you're looking for what's the end goal. This is what we're mainly talking about. What kind of mod sets you want to look for, and then work on your mods. Like we said in the last video, you just got to work on your mods. Get the set that you like, slice them up, get them going. GL should always be a priority first for modding because they're just so good. And if you don't have a character GL modded well, then you're just setting yourself up for failure. And then the last one, and he's pretty straightforward too, in my opinion, is Jabba the Hutt. Now for me, I've got health and speed. I mainly went with health and made him really fast. 553 is a slower character, but I still went with a really heavy speed set with lots of health. Carth, let's talk about the big slug here, baby. What are we looking for, and what are the different ways you can go for modding on this guy?
Well, the only besides speed set, health set, the only other way I've ever seen him modded is speed tenacity.
Sure.
And picking up a tenacity cross. Depending on the counter that you use against him, that can lead to a more nuisance type of approach to where he's hard to inflict. Like either the old Night Sister counter, or even
Yeah.
Momo, without having some sort of potency up. It gets really hard to get through that tenacity. So that's a fairly common one that I see, is tenacity builds on Jabba, but still with a speed set. Because Jabba needs to take turns. Once he gets contract, it's all about using his basic and getting to his alt very, very quickly, multiple times, and kind of eating up the board. So that's the main way people are going to do it, is it's going to be speed health or speed tenacity. And then basically everything else is you take health primaries on your circle and triangle. The cross is kind of up to which way you want to build it. If you want to go speed health, then it'd be health. If you want to go speed tenacity, it'd be a tenacity primary, and then speed on the arrow. And then that's pretty much the basics of what you would want to aim for him.
That's right. So let us know in the comments how you are modding these characters. We have the light side video you can go back and check out for your modding for the 4 GLs on that side. And we got now the dark side team GLs, or the modding and how you want to mod these characters maybe for your GLs. Let us know in the comments what you use. There's never there are wrong answers, but you can play around with some of the mods or how you want to do it, but just have a game plan, whether you're doing Jabba with tenacity or Lord Vader with more damage. C is kind of straightforward still. We'll talk about him at another time when we get Bane. And then SLKR, you have a few ways you can go and use. So let us know in the comments how you like, how you like to mod him and your reasoning behind it. That's always appreciated. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe. And with that, we will check you out next time on the latest video from RSG. Everyone have a great day.